News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and now 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
A man caught in sex sting gets a $200,000 bond. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. It's Wednesday, April 15th. Yes, it is tax day. And hopefully you've got your taxes in, your refunds already in the bank. But if not, well, you have till midnight tonight. Right now, it's a cloudy 36 degrees in Missoula. A newscast this morning sponsored by Boot Barn, where they're celebrating everyday heroes that work hard for their families. Big savings on work apparel and boots in South Crossing. Our top story this morning, 32-year-old Todd Leichner, appeared in justice court via video yesterday from the county jail, charged with felony sexual abuse of children. Deputy Missoula County Attorney Jennifer Clark said Leichner had been dating the victim's mother when he became interested in the 15-year-old girl.
It's alleged that between March 21st of this year and April 13th, he had contact with a 15-year-old girl that he was aware was 15 and was enticing her to engage in sexual conduct with him.
Clark said the girl's mother contacted Detective Chris Shermer with the Missoula Police Department, who then took over messaging with the defendant.
Detective Shermer had taken over the communication with the defendant in this case. An arrangement was made for him to come over to the victim's house last night, and he did show up and was arrested when he arrived.
Clark told Judge Karen Orzak that Leichner had a criminal history dealing with teenage girls, and he was placed in jail on $200,000 bond. Montana representatives have narrowly endorsed a bill to let residents of small school districts establish their own high schools. Representatives voted 50-49 to pass Senate Bill 107 on a second reading yesterday. School officials from Hellgate Elementary have supported the current bill, as well as a version that failed in 2013. The measure would allow residents in those three districts to vote to split off from the current K-12 districts where their residents attend high school. Senator Steve Daines has secured a commitment from the Federal Aviation Administration to increase safety after the extension of the Powder River Training Complex in southeastern Montana. Daines expressed his concerns with FAA Administrator Michael Huerta during the proceedings yesterday.
I think we share the same fear that the communication system is a great step, but I know the folks out there aren't quite convinced it goes far enough. I guess I'd like to get your commitment to continue to work with the local airports, stakeholders to provide the appropriate communications and radar equipment necessary to ensure a high level of aviation safety.
Huerta agreed and said talks were already underway.
We will certainly continue to work with the community. This is something that we spent a lot of time really trying to understand in discussions with local stakeholders and users therein.
A high level of air traffic in southeastern Montana and possible conflicts with military training has concerned many, has been a frequent topic of conversation by Congress. Law enforcement officers recovered a minivan with a 3-year-old boy inside about an hour after the van was stolen outside a Billings hardware store. Police say the boy was unharmed. Officers are still searching for whoever took the van at about 10 o'clock Tuesday morning and left it at Two Moon Park in Billings, where it was found about 11. The Billings Gazette reports the boy's mother said a babysitter left her son in the van when she went into the hardware store. When she returned, the boy and the vehicle were gone. Billings Police and Yellowstone County Sheriff's officers responded to the 911 call. The number of children in the Montana foster care system has skyrocketed over 2,200 and is currently higher than it has been for more than a decade. Youth Dynamics Family Development Coordinator Katie Gurton works to find homes for foster kids in Missoula, said the need for homes far outpaces the availability.
We don't even have close to half as much homes to give a home to all of those children. And because of that, siblings are broken up and placed in different homes. Kids end up in shelters and less than ideal placements. It's not uncommon for a child to move placements several times within a year just because they're placed in a less than ideal placement, because there's not enough availability to even match a youth to an appropriate placement.
Gurton says a lack of home availability has made it difficult for children to find homes in the areas where they're from, and that they're sometimes forced to be uprooted from their friends and communities they grew up in.
I just don't have enough homes. I've turned down at least 24 placements here in Missoula. I don't have a place to put them, and I send out referrals to all of our different offices all over the state, and they don't have homes either. For instance, when I worked in Kalispell, I had a youth place that lived up in Glendive that was placed up in Kalispell with me because there was no home.
Those interested in opening their home to a foster child can call Gurton at 728-9672. It's 728-9672. A bill that would ban minors in Montana from purchasing electronic cigarettes and nicotine liquid containers is on its way to the governor's desk. The House cleared Senate Bill 66 by a vote of 72 to 28 yesterday. It's tax day today, the busiest day of the year for the folks at the Montana Department of Revenue. According to Department Communications Director Molly Peterson, fewer Montanans are waiting till the last minute to file.
This year, we've already received over 364,000 returns. And last year, by April 15th, we had received 358,000. So we've actually received more this year already before the deadline than we did last year.
For those still crunching numbers and digging through receipts, Peterson has a few important tips.
Keep in mind that you can file for an extension for your taxes, but that doesn't mean that you get an extension for payment. So if you need to file an extension, you still should estimate what your payment will be and get that in by the 15th. We want to make sure that we can help as many people as possible, and so we are open from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. to take calls on our toll-free line.
Here's that line number. You ready? It's write it down in case you're still working, tearing out your hair. 866-859-2254. That's 866-859-2254. KGVO News has obtained emails from the Prospect Meadows Homeowners Association warning of vehicle break-ins. This is the same neighborhood where German exchange student Darren Day was shot while trespassing in the garage of Marcus Karma almost exactly 1 year ago. One of the emails detailed the break-in and theft from a pickup truck, while another apparently involved teenagers ringing a homeowner's doorbell and fleeing. Quoting one of the emails, "I'm amazed at anyone trying to do anything in this neighborhood, considering the events that happened last year," end quote. The Homeowners Association is advising its members to lock their vehicles. Day was shot April 27th while garage hopping, and Marcus Karma is now serving a 70-year sentence in the Montana State Prison. Our News Talk time now is 6:12.
Newstalk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
We will start out cloudy this morning, but we'll eventually see some partial clearing by this afternoon. Highs working up into the lower 50s in the Missoula Valley, and we should remain mostly dry throughout the day. I'm meteorologist Mac Ray for KCI 13.